How you doing? My name is Pork Chop. Now, that's not my given name. I mean, that's my given name, but not my given name by the people who give me my name. My real name, between us, confidentially, Emilio Catalancio. But see, when my grandfather, the original Emilio Catalancio, he came over here, see, they changed his name to Cantel. I got to tell you, growing up with the name Cantel, the nuns didn't like that so much. They thought I was being a wise guy. Now, I was being a wise guy, but not about that. That's just my name, Cantel. I live in this house. My father built this house after the war. He built this with his own hands, and well, he had hammers and shit, but mostly he did this by himself. He built this house. I grew up in this. My mother grew up in this. We all grew up in this. And then when they got sick of this Chicago life, when they got sick of the Cook County life, they moved down to Alabama. I got the house. When I got my Gail moved in the house with me. We had the one baby, then the other baby. They both grew up in this house. Now they're both successful adults. I still got the house. Any way you look at it, I'm a winner. Call me Pork Chop. Good to meet you. So there was this guy called Mr. Clifford. Every Sunday at church, he would hold out a nickel and a dime. And every Sunday, I took the nickel. And he would laugh and laugh. Next week, he'd hold out a nickel and a dime, and I would take the nickel. And he would laugh and laugh and laugh. This went on for weeks. Finally, one of the grannies said to me, she said, you know, the little one is worth more than the big one. I said, I know that. But he gets a kick out of this. If I pick the little one, he might stop offering. So every Sunday, these old ladies at the church, they would give us a kiss on the cheek and put a dime in our hand. And it was a manna from heaven, this dime. You got to remember, back then, a dime was a big deal to these old people who'd been through a lot and didn't have a lot of dimes to spare. They'd always give you a kiss on the cheek, and the cheek always felt like sandpaper. Except the ones that had a mustache, then it kind of tickled. This went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we didn't care. We got a pocket full of dimes. Everybody's happy. I got my nickels from Mr. Clifford, so I'm a little ahead of the game. Then one day, we show up to church, and there's a new lady there. This lady had curves where the other ladies had straight highway. She was unbelievable. I took one look at her. My heart went right through my shirt. She was amazing. So she come to me. She puts a quarter in my hand. That's 2 bits. That's a whole quarter. She puts that in my hand. She gives me a kiss on the cheek. And this was not a sandpaper kiss. This was a lovely, juicy kiss. It lingered. I was in love. I asked my mother who this woman is, and she said, her name is Rose DeLuca. So one afternoon, I get a wild hair, and I go to Rose DeLuca's house. I knock on the door, and this kind of fat guy answers. And I said, I'm looking for Rose DeLuca. He said, who are you? I said, I'm the guy who's looking for Rose DeLuca. He said, she can't come to the door. He closed the door. I was dejected. I turned to walk away. The door opened up behind me. There was Rose DeLuca in all her radiant glory. She pressed a piece of paper into my hand. She gave me a nice, juicy kiss, and then she went back into the house. I didn't look at the paper. I knew what it was. I knew exactly what that piece of paper was. Put it in my pocket, and I ran home. I'm talking Johnny Bench. I ran home like you wouldn't believe. I get to my room. I reach into my pocket. I pull out the piece of paper. It's a dollar bill. Now, it's a great dollar bill. What 9-year-old kid doesn't want a dollar bill? But I was hoping for something a little more personal. The next Sunday, go to church, expecting my quarter and my kiss. No Rose DeLuca. The next Sunday, no Rose DeLuca. The next Sunday, no Rose DeLuca. But here's the thing. That gave me the confidence to be who I am today. That gave me the joy for that small period of time in my little 9-year-old life. Every kid needs a Rose DeLuca. So I'm sitting at work and the phone rings. I answer the phone. And the guy says, "Is this Mr. Cantel?" I said, "One of them." So, "Well, we need to talk to Mr. Cantel about his mother." I said, "What about my mother?" He said, "She's sick." I said, "She's not sick. She's old. People get old." He said, "No. Your mother's far past that. She's sick." So what do you got on your mind? She's going to be fine. She's going to be out there cooking the gnocchi in no time. He says, "Look, Mr. Cantel, your father's down here with your mother, but he's going to need some help. You got to help her put a house in order." I said, "Okay, I'll be right down." Hung up the phone. I called Gail. I said, "Gail, pick up Gail Jr. I'm going to get pork chop. We got to go to Alabama." She said, "Alabama?" I said, "I know, right? We're going to go to Birmingham. We got to see my mother." She said, "Oh, Porky." I said, "Don't worry about it. We're going to go see my mother." So I get the kids. Gail gets Gail Jr. We get to the hospital. I hate hospitals. I hate hospitals. They smell like piss and desperation. I don't want to be there. But I walk in the room and there's Ma in bed. Ma lights up. She lights up like Christmas in Alabama. And there's Pops. Pops is clutching a crucifix. His knuckles are white. He's so upset. But Ma, she just smiles. She sees me and Gail. She sees Pork Chop Jr. and Gail Jr. And you can tell she feels better. I said, "Ma." She said, "Porky." I said, "Ma, you look great." She said, "Porky, I don't look so good." I said, "But Ma, we got things to do this week. You got to come out. We got to make some pasta. We got to take care of the kids. You got to get to know your grandbabies. You never really got to know these kids. You got to get to know Gail Jr. She's brilliant. You got to get to know Pork Chop Jr. You got to spend time with these kids. You can't go anywhere right now." I look over and Pops is starting to cry. We don't cry. The Cantel men don't cry. I cried once in my life, and that was when Gail was born. And then when Pork Chop was born, so that's twice. But we're not crying people. That's not what we do. Anyway, she took me by the hand. And she said, "Porky, I love you." I said, "I love you, Ma." She said, "You're the light in my life, Porky. You've always been." I said, "Ma, we got things to do. Come on now, get up out of the bed. You look great. You're going to be fine." She said, "Porky, I'm not going to be fine. I need you to take care of your babies. I need you to take care of your dad. I need to know that you're going to be all right. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching over you and the family forever. I need to know you're going to be all right." And then she closed her eyes. She just closed her eyes right there. I took the kids. We walked out of the room. And we walked down the hall. The only thing I hate more than hospitals is Birmingham. So the other day, Pork Chop Jr. comes into my room. He says, "Dad, we got to talk." I said, "Okay, let's talk." He said, "No, we got to talk." I said, "We can talk. You talk, I'll listen. I'll talk, you listen. That's how this goes." Good enough. He says, "Dad, do you ever hear about alternative lifestyles?" I said, "Son, I need a little more detail." He said, "Alternative lifestyle, like things that not everybody does." I said, "You're not telling me you're a Cub fan, are you?" He said, "Oh, no, Dad. Nobody would ever be a Cub fan. Nobody with any brains would ever be a Cub fan. Anyway, no, Dad." I said, "Well, what is it, son?" He says, "Dad, I'm not really into women in the romantical sense." I said, "Explain that, son, because I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're saying there." So, "Dad, I'm more interested in the boys in the romantical sense. I like boys. I'm gay, Dad." I said, "What? What do you got on your mind? You're what?" He says, "I'm sorry to disappoint you, Dad, I said, disappoint me? If you're in love, you're in love. I don't care who you're in love with. I was being surprised because I didn't want you to know that your mother and I have been talking about this for months. We knew you were gay. We don't care if you're gay. Here's what we care about. We care that you're happy. We care that someone loves you. We care that we love you. We care that you're comfortable and you're having a good life. That's really it, kid. Do you. Be happy. Love who you want to love. Just don't love the Cubs. So Gail sends me to the Jewels to get some shampoo. And I'm walking down the meat aisle and I see this guy. And this guy looks just like me. It was like looking in a mirror. This guy, he's handsome, he's well built, he's got a goatee. I said, what's your name? He said, I'm Uncle Beef. What's your name? I said, I'm Pork Chop. He said, you're the other white meat. Everybody's got a joke. I said, you married? He said, yeah, you married? I said, of course I'm married. I said, what's your wife's name? He said, Glenda. What's your wife's name? I said, Gail. You work in the factory? Yeah, I work in the factory. You work in the factory? Yeah, I work in the factory. You work in the factory in Archer? Of course I work in the factory in Archer. Where else are you going to work? You in the factory in Archer? Yeah, I'm in the factory in Archer. I said, you got kids? He said, yeah. You got kids? He said, yeah. We both got kids. He said, what's your kid's name? I said, my son is Pork Chop Jr. My daughter is Gail Jr. What about you? He said, my daughter is Glenda Jr. My son, he's Little Beefy. I couldn't believe it. This guy was my doppelganger. I never seen nothing like it in my life. It was like looking in a mirror. So Gail says to me, she says, Pork Chop, we need a vacation. I said, Gail, you want a vacation? We'll take a vacation. You never ask for nothing. You ask for something, I'm going to give it to you. You want a vacation? Let's go. So we go to Vegas. Vegas is lovely. We go into this big room, a lot of lights, a lot of bells, a lot of whistles. She goes her way, I go my way. I end up in a room with a bunch of guys, and they start playing the cards. They start playing the cards. I start losing. I'm losing hand over fist. I'm losing like it's my job. What am I going to do? I'm down $30. Pork Chop is never down $30. $30, that's a lot. I'm not going to waste $30, but I already wasted it. What am I going to do? One more hand. If I could get back my 30 in this hand, I'll be good. I'll be well. Let's do this. First card dealt is a king. Second card dealt is a king. I'm feeling it. And then some crapola. But 2 kings is something to think about. So I put a couple bucks in there. See if I can't scare off some of the pikers. One guy stays in with me. Okay. So I throw those 3 away. I pick up a fresh 3. There's a 3rd king. There's no way these mooks are going to beat 3 kings. I went all in. 12 whole bucks. 12 entire dollars right in the pot. Everybody folds but the one guy. He decides he's going to call me. He calls me. I lay down my 3 kings. I'm ready to scrape the pot in. He says, oh, here's 3 aces. Who's got 3 aces? What do you got on your mind? I got the 3 kings. How do I not win with 3 kings? He's got 3 aces. Well, that's enough for me. I've lost enough money. I'm going to get out of there. So I'm heading towards the one place where I can really cash in, the buffet. Get me some peel and eat shrimp, drown my sorrows in some shrimp cocktail. I'm walking toward the buffet, and I hear these people cheering. I mean, they're cheering like it's a Super Bowl. I look, and there's someone throwing bones. And I look even closer, it's Gail. Gail throws the bones, they all cheer. Gail throws the bones, they all cheer. What? I'm going to go over and see what she's doing. I took one step, I said, oh, I can't do that, because if I go over there and bring her bad luck, she ain't going to make any more money. No one's going to make any money. I'm going to get me some shrimp. So I go over to the buffet, I get me a nice big pile of peel and eat shrimp. I get me some shrimp cocktail, I sit down. A couple minutes later, Gail shows up with a big box of chips. I said, did you steal those? You can't steal chips. They count them. She said, no, honey, I won them. You won them? I said, we each had $50 to start this little trip. What did you do? I lost mine. She goes, I turned it into $2,000. You made $2,000 throwing the bones? She said, yeah, I chewed the bones. I said, you chewed the bones? She said, yeah, it was me throwing the bones. You chewed the bones. She threw the balls for $2,000. What did I do? I ate my shrimp. I need a cup of coffee. So it's a Saturday afternoon, and everything is popping just the way it's supposed to. The White Sox are on, the grill is on, I got some ribs cooking on the grill. It's going to be a beautiful day. And the phone rings. I pick up the phone, it's Gail. Gail says, Porky, I got an emergency. You got to come over here, I got an emergency. I said, Gail, what kind of emergency can you have at a beauty parlor? It's a beauty, it's a parlor. That's not words that would conjure up the idea of an emergency. She said, no, honey, you got to come right away. Now, if you know me for more than 5 minutes, you know that Gail gets anything she wants, anytime she wants, without question. So I get in the car and I drive down to the beauty parlor. I walk in the door and, hello, Gladys. Hello, Myrna. Hello, lady who looks like she could be Gladys's niece. Hello, lady with the what? That was my Gail, my beautiful blonde, adorable, beautiful Gail, but her hair was purple. Now, let me explain to you my issue with the color purple. About a year or so ago, I was at the Army Navy on Archer, and I saw this beautiful purple polo shirt. It was a nice one. So I bought it. So the next day, I pull up to work. I'm in the parking lot. I'm getting ready, and I'm thinking, all this purple on, people are going to think I'm Prince. I'm going to sing a little red Corvette. I'm going to have a good old day, right? I walk in the door, and Flacco says, hey, look, it's Barney. I ain't no damn dinosaur. Anyway, I don't like the color purple. So I look at Gail, I said, Gail, what did you do? You're the most beautiful woman in Cook County. Why would you do that to your hair? She says, Porky, I want to express myself. You want to express yourself? Knit a sweater. Crochet a plaid hanger. You don't make your hair purple. She said, I just want to make you happy, Porky. All right. I guess you're going to have purple hair, Gail. I guess you're going to be beautiful, Gail. Because you are the most beautiful woman in the state of Illinois. But I can't wait for that to grow out. So this one day, when she was a kid, Gail Jr. comes and she says, Poppy, we got to talk. I said, okay, we got to talk. We'll talk. She said, I got to talk to you now. I said, okay, you talk, I'll listen. Then when I'm done listening, I'll talk and you'll listen. That's how this game is played. She said, okay, Dad, here's the thing. I don't think the kids at school like me so much. I said, what do you mean? They got to like you. Everyone likes you. She said, no, Poppy, I don't think they like me. I said, they're just jealous. They're jealous of you. Now, just between us, there's a handbook called Parenting 101. If you look on page 7, it says, whenever your kid feels bad, tell them everyone around them is jealous. It solves everything. All right? Didn't work this time. So I said, well, here's the thing, Gail. You are beautiful. You are the most beautiful girl in this whole house. And here's the thing. People might, they might get a little jealous because you're beautiful. But the beauty opens the doors. You go in that door, and there's where you use your brains. You got more brains. I never had so much brains. I know what I know. I know what I need to know. You got books and books and books and books in your brain. Use them. Use them when the beauty gets you in. Use your brains to stay in and to make change. You see, there's going to come a time where a bunch of old white dudes in suits are going to make the world not so great for the women. You are going to change that. You are going to change the way we look at things. See what I'm saying? Now, people are going to say your beauty is irrelevant. I don't think your beauty is irrelevant. I think your beauty is a gift from your mother. You didn't get it from me. But you got it. Use it. Use your beauty to open the door, to use your brains to make the country a better place, to put the guys in the suits in their own place. And we can all live happily ever after. Hey, hold on. So I said to Pete, Pete, here's the thing. Every other Friday, I buy all my crew at World's Finest a nice lunch. I come to you because you're the hot dog guy. No one knows hot dogs like Pete, right? So I put in my order, and your wife is there. She's taking the order, but she's on the phone. She's not paying attention. She's just writing. She's talking. She's writing. I'm just trying to get the order through. Finally, I give her the money, get the food. I get back to the shop. Everyone's got the food. There's Gladys got her food. Myrna got her food. Flacco got his food. Flacco takes a bite of the hot dog. His head spins like the Harlem Globetrotters. I said, what do you got on your mind? Give me that thing. I look. Somebody put hot jardiniere on Flacco's hot dog. You don't put a jardiniere on a hot dog, and you don't mess with someone's lunch. Lunch is a very specific thing. See what I'm saying? Now you, Pete, you have sold more hot dogs than anybody could kind of, so you know how important this is. You put jardiniere, I put jardiniere on everything. I love jardiniere. I put it on my eggs, I put it on my corn dog, I put it on some cannoli. I love the jardiniere. But you don't put it on a hot dog. A hot dog is a very specific thing, Pete. So now we're going to make an order today, and you're going to look at me, I'm going to look at you, you're going to write down what I say, you're going to make what I say, and you're going to throw in an extra baklava for everybody. Now, I know you want me to pay for the baklava, but you're going to pay for the baklava because you're the one who gave Flacco jardiniere last time. Understand? I'm not a tourist. I'm not a tour guide. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. I'm not going to tell nobody how to do their job, but I'm going to tell you, follow the directions, put in the baklava, and remember this. Remember this of all things, Pete. A hot dog is a very specific thing. In 1974, my mother threw a birthday party for me. She got a 6-foot-long sub sandwich. But here's the thing, she didn't invite my friends. She invited the friends she wanted me to have. Now, Eldon, Kick, they're my friends. That's my crew. They're kind of hooligan-y, but they're my people. She didn't invite them. She invited the choir kids and the theater kids. I know nothing from theater or choir, but they're going to show up because it's a free lunch. So they show up. Everyone's having a nice time singing and dancing and doing all this. And in walks the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. She's a little taller than me. Everybody's taller than me. She's got the most beautiful blonde hair I've ever seen on a human being. She's got these bright, sparkly blue eyes like them dogs have in the movies. She's unbelievable. I gully up a little bit of strength and nerve and courage, and I walk up and I say, "How you doing? I'm Pork Chop." She said, "What kind of name is that?" I said, "It's a meat." She said, "My name is Gail." I said, "Oh, that's a perfect name. I love that name, Gail." He said, "Would you like to sit and talk for a little bit?" She said, "Of course." We sat down on the couch. We talked about the White Sox. We talked about Mayor Daley. We talked about the Beatles. We talked all night. By the time we were done, everybody was gone. So was the sandwich. I said, "Gail, I don't want to be introducible, but I really think we should have another date." She said, "Okay." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah. We're going to have a date." That weekend, we went to Shakey's and had a pizza. The next weekend, we went out again. And every weekend, and all of a sudden, we're having midweek dates. We're like the Kennedys. Who has midweek dates? But we're having dates all the time. Then one day, we're at the party deck at Sox Park, and I said, "Gail, I want you to be my wife." And she said, "It's about time, Pork Chop." So we get married. It's the most beautiful service you ever seen in your whole life. We had it catered by Pete's Red Hots. Anyhow, we have the most lovely life. 9 months later, here comes a little baby, Gail Jr. Gail Jr. is the most beautiful baby you ever seen in your life. Now I got everything any guy could want. I got a house, I got a beautiful wife, I got a beautiful baby, I got a good job. Everything is going just amazing. Life can't get any better till it does. Gail has another baby. This is Pork Chop Jr. Now, I got a beautiful wife, I got a beautiful daughter, I got a beautiful son, I got a good job, I got a great house, I got everything I can imagine. Now, years later, we look back, Pork Chop Jr., he is one of the top dancers on Broadway. He can kick up his heels like nobody's business. And Gail Jr., she's a senator. She's making change. Gail Jr. is making the world a better place for you and me. So all I'm saying is if you have a birthday party, maybe invite people that ain't your friends. Nobody was more surprised that Gail accepted my proposal of matrimony. I mean, I was surprised. She may have been more surprised. Her parents were pretty surprised, but my parents were maybe more surprised than them. But I was more surprised than my parents. But I mean, not a surprise. Everybody was surprised. Anyway, there we were on our way to the church. So Uncle Lefty comes by in the town car. It's a beautiful brown town car. You can barely see the rust. It's a beautiful car. Everyone loves this car. He comes and he gets me. We get in the car. We get to the church, the St. Mary of the Waters. It's a very lovely church. We go in that little room over there where you get dressed before the service. And my dad's got this black bag, and in this black bag is my tuxedo. I take out the shirt, I button it up. I kind of fluff up the ruffles because, the ruffles. Then I put on the jacket. Now I'm looking good. I'm looking Burt Reynolds good. I'm talking pre-Smokey and the Bandits, Burt Reynolds good, looking good. And then I pull out the pants. These pants look like a jumpsuit for a 12-year-old. I can't wear these pants. These pants are ridiculous. These pants are tiny. There's a lot of real estate here. I can't put it in them little pants. I said, Eldon, get in the car, go to the tuxedo joint and get me the right pants. They ain't got the right pants. They ain't even open. It's a Sunday. Everyone is at church. They're not going to be there with the pants. I said, how am I going to get married? I got a lovely shirt. I got a great jacket. I got no. So Pop says to me, son, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get a pair of your black cargo pants. And no one's going to know the difference. I said, Pops, I can have pockets on my sides. Everyone's going to know the difference. I got a nice tuxedo jacket. I got a nice tuxedo shirt. And I got cargo pants. Pop says to me, he said, son, that shirt is so amazing. All the people are going to focus on that. They're not even going to see the cargo pants. Son of a bitch, you're right, Dad. They're not going to see the cargo pants. They're going to see the shirt. They might even notice Gail. So Dad goes home, gets me some cargo pants, comes back. I put them on, looking good. Pull that jacket on, clip on the old tie. Off I go down the aisle, looking like $1,000,000. There at the end, my lovely Gail. It was the most beautiful day of my life. I never had a more beautiful day, except later when I had kids. But at that point, it was the most beautiful day of my life. And no one said a word about the cargo pants. I gotta go change the laundry. Hey kid, hey kid. So I says to Miss Bockwinkel, Miss Bockwinkel, you owe my kid an apology. Now, I'm not one of those parents who thinks their kid is perfect. My kids ain't perfect. Gail, my wife, she's perfect. Me, I'm not perfect. You put that together, you get my kids. Nearly perfect, not quite perfect. But my kid was defending himself. He got in trouble in school for defending himself. If you're like one of those NBA refs who doesn't see the provocation, you only see the follow-up. You gotta see both sides of it. Now, I know that teaching is tough these days. You gotta buy your own supplies. You gotta spend all day with a bunch of kids. I get it. It's a tough job. But you gotta be fair. You gotta make my kid feel safe when he's here. That's all there is to it. So on Monday morning, he comes in, you make a nice apology, you shake hands, you make up, everybody wins, and next year, I'll buy you 4 boxes of pencils. Saratogas.